Welcome to episode 131. If you're new here, my name is V Lee. This is the show where I interview upcomers, doers, and ballers of the real estate investing world. The purpose is to help you to achieve financial freedom in real estate investing faster. Today's guest is Jennifer Frankenstein-Harris. Jennifer went from a stay-at-home mom to a vacation rental manager. Her company went from one home in 2008 to 300 homes managed in 2021. She also owns 6 vacation rentals in Florida. So join us as we discuss important things you should know when you are buying a vacation home as an investment. Hey, Jennifer, welcome to the show and thank you for being here today. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing, V? It's great to see you.
Great to see you too. I'm doing fantastic. Every time I see you, I'm fantastic.
That's the way the vacation rental world and the real estate world should be, right?
Yeah. So, I first met you at VRMA. And for the listener who don't know what VRMA is, it's Vacation Rental Manager Association. So I first met you there, I think it was in New Orleans. And then maybe about 2 months later, I show up at your office in Florida.
Yes, you did.
And because you invited me, well, I sort of invited myself, but you allowed me to show up. So I am forever grateful to you for that opportunity. Why don't you give the audience a quick introduction of who you are?
Sure. Well, first of all, I was thankful you came that day. It was an honor for me to host you at our offices. So I am Jennifer Frankenstein-Harris, and I started a company about 14 years ago called Great Ocean Condos. I was a middle school band director. I was teaching band to 350 middle school kids. I had my own child and decided, wow, I really wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, stay home with my child. And so I started that, had another child, and started homeschooling my kids. In the process of all of that, we were able to purchase a vacation rental. Now, a dream come true, right? For anybody. First of all, to just purchase your first home, dream come true.
Yeah.
But to have the opportunity and the means to purchase a second home, a vacation home that you're going to share with others, hopefully make profitable, was just a dream for us. So we purchased our vacation rental. I quickly found out that there were not technology forward or guest friendly forward managers in my area. We tried 2 or 3 and I thought, well, certainly I could do a better job at this. So I started managing my own vacation rental. That's where it started.
Wow, that is amazing. So we're going to talk about your whole journey because I would call you an REBallers.
Thank you, I think.
So, I think you have achieved that level of success that very few people in the industry have achieved. So let's maybe backtrack. Could you tell me a very interesting story about how you bought that first investment property? Because you were a stay-home mom. So obviously, let's be real, right? In order to buy a property, you got to have income, money, but you were able to buy your home and your investment home. Tell us about that.
Well, it's an interesting story because my father, who he passed away 6 weeks after we closed on the property. He really wanted me to purchase this property. He called it a no-brainer for a couple of reasons. First, it was going to make money. He could see that it's oceanfront property in Florida. There's only so much of it. We're not going to create any more of it. Mm-hmm. And second, I had young children and we grew up going to the beach. I grew up in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Mm-hmm. So he wanted me to make memories with my kids. So he had offered to co-sign on the loan for me, which I was just like, I don't want to have to do that to do this property. So he called me one day and he said, I have a great idea. You can second mortgage your house and take a mortgage out on the investment property, but talk to your mortgage broker about putting those loans through on the same day. Now, I don't think we did anything illegal. I think this was smart as hell.
Timing.
Can I say that? It was smart as hell. Because what happened was we were granted the second mortgage and we obtained a mortgage on the condo both loans got approved on the same day. So one mortgage didn't see the other mortgage as far as leveraging our assets. Now, I don't recommend this to everybody unless you have the means to pay for it. So what I did was I was teaching private flute lessons on the side. So I didn't have a year of income to show for that. I picked up 30 flute students at $30 a lesson every week. Do quick math on that, $900 a week.
Yeah.
Just teaching flute lessons, right? And it was only 15 hours a week. And that money was going to go to pay for any expenses we had on the vacation rental. So I knew that we could handle both along with rental income from vacationers. And voila, we got approved. We got approved for everything. So that was a brilliant idea by the smartest man on earth, my dad.
That was very impressive. It's not, I don't think it's illegal. It's a creative financing strategy.
Exactly what it was. It was a very creative idea. And, that first year, real estate people who had been, they want to sell. So they were telling me, oh, you could do 25,000 a year on this property. Easy. You could do 25. You're going to make 25,000 a year. So I used that number and put it into my, calculations of what we could afford and if we could do the transaction. But reality was we only did 13. That first year with that manager, we only did 13. So when my dad passed away, he left us our family home in Vermont. Now I'm stay-at-home mom, homeschooling my kids, teaching flute lessons on the side. I now have the home I live in, my vacation rental, and my dad just left me a property in Vermont that I have to take care of. So it was necessity. I had to learn how to manage my vacation rental, turn it profitable, and I had to learn quickly. So the first year that I did it myself, I doubled my income. I made $26,000 that year. And my neighbor was going, what are you doing?
There's how did you do that?
How did you do that? I said, why? Easy. I could help you do that. Number one, be nice to people. Number two, take credit cards, right? Answer the phone when people call.
What year was this? Jennifer, what year was this?
2007.
Okay. And your management company did not accept credit card at the time?
No.
Wow.
No credit cards. They didn't want, in fact, they took checks in the mail. Yeah. And in fact, they took a check from we have a lot of snowbirds in Florida right now, snowbird season. They would take a check upon arrival. So sometimes a guest just wouldn't show up.
Yeah.
And they had no skin in the game. So, the industry, I like to call it a community because industry is super commercial in nature. Yeah. And I feel like community is residential in nature. It feels better. And we're not a commercial industry. We don't want to be regulated commercially. We can talk about that too. But, at the time, that's just how everyone did it on my island. It's an old Florida beach town. We only have 2 hotels on the beach on the entire island. So if you want to come to New Smyrna, which is Orlando's best beach, you've got to have a privately owned condo or home. And that was the opportunity. So I helped my neighbor and I helped my next neighbor and then 2 neighbors, 5 neighbors, 10, 20, 100 neighbors, 200 neighbors, 300 neighbors. I was managing 300 properties by the time I hit year 8.
Wow. That is a very impressive growth.
It was exciting at the time. And recently, I'll go ahead and put it out there. I sold my company to Village Realty Holdings in 2020. So it's been 13 months since I sold. And it was a wonderful feeling to build something and sell it to a company that I knew was going to take very good care of it, treat it like its own. It's like I was one of my kids. I grew up my baby and I handed my baby off to somebody else. And it was a very profitable 12 years for me.
Let me go backtrack because I think statistically speaking, there are many vacation rental managers in this, you call it community, right? But most of them have very few properties, right? I don't know the exact stat, but I know to have 50 plus home, that put you in a different category already.
Right. So, that's a great question. People have asked me that, how did you grow? And I honestly pinch myself. I don't know how I grew to that so quickly, except that we were offering something other people didn't offer. Number one, we were offering a website where you could book online, swipe a credit card, middle of the night. Who books vacations? Moms do. When do they look? After the kids are in bed at night. So you have to be accessible and easy to book. And that just wasn't happening in my area. And you have to love people. You have to provide a relational communication. I'm booking your vacation and I care about you. Most Americans get 1 or 2 vacations a year.
Mm-hmm.
One, if they're lucky, 2, if they're blessed, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
You have to make that time special. And then there's a third thing, which is answer the phone. Answer the phone. Do you know that the percent of people who answer the phone these days is dropping and dropping and dropping? You know why? Because I don't have to talk to you. I can text you, right? I don't have to. I could just shoot you a quick text and that's it. And I don't have to go any further with that. Well, we answered the phone. I never had a phone system in my office that said, thank you for calling. Please press 1 if you would like to blah. It was always a person who answered the phone and greeted you. And, maybe that's archaic, but that's real. That's what we did. So growth wise, word of mouth was huge because we were providing something on the island that no one else. And for those of you who don't know where New Smyrna is, 20 minutes south of Daytona on the east coast of Florida, beautiful little old Florida beach town. So we were providing that.
I didn't know where that was until I came to your office.
That you got on a plane.
Yeah. I was like, what? New what? Is
New
this
Smyrna.
a real city?
Yeah. Hey, we've been on the Food Network. We're the real deal. We've got, the Garlic, a great restaurant in town. And, we've been on the Food Network. So that's our little claim to fame. But it's a great foodie town. Would love to host people. If you want to come, please get in touch with us. So we were just providing something that wasn't there.
This episode is brought to you by Buzz Vacation Rentals, a premier property management company in Houston and Galveston areas. Buzz Vacation Rentals specializes in managing short-term rentals the right way. Give Buzz a call at 281-549-8432 to learn more, or check out their website at listwoodbuzz.com, and that is listwoodbuzz.com. Now back to the Real Estate Baller Show. Your path is a little bit different. So myself, for example, I started off as an investor. I buy, sell, hold real estate. Mm-hmm. Then I saw an opportunity in the vacations or short-term rental. So then I, transitioned into some of that. There's a lack of property management company in our area for that type of management. So I created a management company. That's how we met. But I think, your way somehow seems like it's smarter because you bought your first home and then you leverage other people's home to build your wealth, right? And now you have 6 homes of your own.
You know what? It's funny you say that because I want to be you, right? I would love to, basically flip houses, right? Take them and turn them into a great investment and sell them and move on to the next one. That's such an interesting part of the business. But also, what you're doing now, and you're right, there's a real, I want to address this because I know we've talked about this in the past. Airbnb has catapulted us meaning vacation rental managers into the spotlight. Yeah. And, fantastic marketing, clever idea, just like Uber, right? Mm-hmm. Clever idea. People will use their own car to drive people around. Wow. But we're not Airbnbs, are we, V?
No, we're not.
We're not Airbnbs. I'm not an Airbnb. I'm a professional vacation rental manager. I'm not sharing a room with you. I'm not, welcoming you at the door and showing you in. I am providing a whole home that has been stocked perfectly. Yeah. Every inventory checked, cleaned immaculately, customer, 24/7. If you need anything, where's the best restaurant? Everything that's going on. I'm paying taxes, state and locally, and I'm providing care of a property to an owner. That's not an Airbnb. No, that's a professional vacation rental manager. And so we need to start a movement, right? We need to educate, especially senators and representatives in our local governments, that we're not Airbnbs. And we are a professional organization, and which spurred my involvement with the Vacation Rental Management Association. You can imagine, I was a middle school band director. So how do you learn how to be this professional vacation rental manager? Well, we have an association, and that association has been instrumental in growing my business and helping me get where I am today. I mean, I encourage everybody, please join. What you can learn there is invaluable.
I totally agree. Like I said, I started out because of Airbnb. So I will give Airbnb credit for getting the exposure onto this space, this community, this industry, this business. But I do agree that they don't do a good job as keeping people to do things the right way, right? There's just this hot buzz around, like, get in, get your Airbnb and make a lot of money. So people just do whatever they do. It's like Wild West,
That's right. There's much more to it than that. And I mean, we just opened up membership to single homeowner managers, because even if you have one property that you manage, you can still learn how to be a professional manager, whether you manage 1 or 300. There's still a standard for cleanliness, a standard for technology, a standard for communication. We have to professionalize our community. And VRMA is taking huge steps to do that.
Yeah, I love that organizations, and I learn a lot from the group and from people I've met like you. But to my point, there's no right or wrong way of going about buy property first or leverage other people first, because I think we both have accomplished a certain fulfillment in life, right?
Right. Exactly.
Of where we are today. I think that's just incredible.
It is. And I think anyone can do it, not to minimize what we do, but if you have a love of people and property and you're detailed and professional, I mean, what you are providing for people who are traveling is immeasurable. It's really memories and experiences, and sharing your home with somebody. There is a gratification that comes with being able to welcome somebody to your home, whether you're in the home or not, right? I have property there. And by the way, when are you coming to see me, V? I've got a place for you on the beach.
I'm coming soon.
Here, right next to you. Come on.
I've got to wait for the busy season to be over, so I'm not taking up your space.
I hear you. So, I mean, I think there is an opportunity there, because we do have a certification program. We have clean home standards. We have so much knowledge to share with people. So if you're interested in starting a business, the resources are there. And that's amazing. Not every trade. I mean, I didn't go to school to be a vacation rental manager. I have a degree in music education, but I love people. And putting together this business was natural. As my dad would have said, it was a no-brainer.
Oh, that's very sweet. Your dad, who started you on this, he would be very proud.
I wish you were here to see it.
So when you were building this management company, did the thought of selling it one day came to mind?
Well, it did, because year 5, when I purchased my partner's 50%, I went through an asset purchase, contract and what it took to do that, and evaluating the company and what it looked like. So because I had done that, in the back of my mind, I thought, okay, at that point we had gotten to 100 properties. I think I could get it to 300 and make it much more profitable.
Yeah.
And so that I had the 300 number in my head.
Yeah.
I was remarried 7 years ago. And when I remarried, he told me I didn't need to work anymore. I could do whatever I wanted to do. Oh, how nice.
Yeah.
I said, well, I'll work 5 more years. I actually ended up working 5 years and 5 months. So wow. I still have a teenager at home, and you know what it's like to have, a daughter at home. I want to be there. She doesn't have a lot of time left.
Yeah.
And she was like, Mom, wait till I leave to sell. I don't need a helicopter, Mom. I just, come on. I'm good, Mom. I got this. I'm like, but I want to be with you.
Uh-huh.
So yes, I did. I think everybody should. Okay. First of all, it's going to make your business more organized. Mm-hmm. It's going to make you more process oriented, right? You're going to have a step-by-step, this is how I do things, written processes for everything. And you're going to make it as profitable as you possibly can. Yes, you have to think in your mind, one day I'm going to sell this business. The last piece of that is the year before you sell, you work yourself out of the business. You make yourself dispensable. You're not needed in the office. You don't run any of the processes. You have people in place. People, processes, product. I love Marcus Lemonis, but that is what it is. You put everything in place. And when a seller's looking at you and they realize, wow, we don't really need Jennifer to run this company, it's much more attractive.
Yeah.
So that's a key, right? The year before you sell, that's key.
So you went through building a business from scratch and then selling it. How did you come to determine the value of your business, like what it's worth and what to sell it for?
Well, it was EBITDA, the basic business term. What did we profit per year? And on top of that, we had what were called like add backs. And every business is going to have different types of add backs. I brought my staff to New Orleans for that national conference that you're talking about. Mm-hmm. And it was that was a $20,000 trip to bring the staff. So we could add that back in. And it's too on the buyer. What are they going to allow you to add back in? So all of my 401k money and cash balance plan, we added that back in. Attorney's fees that we had spent the year before, we added that back in. We just went through lots of different things that we had all of our expenditures and said, well, look, here are expenses that you're not going to have. They would have gone to my bottom line profitability. So we're going to take how much money I made on my payroll myself, how much was my dividend, right? We're an S Corp. And then how much add back do we have? And we multiplied that by 4. And, I think there are companies out there paying 5 times EBITDA right now. Yeah. I've heard even up to 6 times
I've
EBITDA.
been hearing 5, 6.
Yeah. So, do I kick myself for selling at 4 times EBITDA? Absolutely not. I've had a wonderful last year of my life, and replacing that with my child at home, can't replace it. So for me, it was the perfect time. Yeah. To sell. And, I'm 52. I think I have a whole nother career left in me. I'm not sure what that is yet, but I think
you're still really young,
Well, look, I think I have one more career left. So I'm not sure what that is yet, but I'm looking.
Well, so you've been professional property manager for a long time. Now, most of our audience that are listening are going to be investors who are looking to buy properties, right, as their investment home. So now we're going to flip your hat, put on a different hat, as you are the owner of these properties. Like when you buy second home for the investment to make them into vacation rentals. What does that look like? What does that process look like? And then now being the property manager, how do you go about hiring a manager to manage your property?
Right. Great questions. So I'm going to say something that in real estate is like Bible, right? Location, 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 right? Okay. It doesn't matter where you're at. Well, I happen to be on the coast of Florida, beaches. So for me, you can only buy the view one time. So if it costs a little more, which a little is about $75,000, it costs about $75,000 more to not be on the end where you look diagonally at the beach. Okay. You want to be in the front where you look straight at the beach. So the difference between oceanfront direct and ocean view, right now it's about $75,000. So you spend the $75,000, no brainer. You spend it because that money's going to come back to you within probably 18 months. Okay. Because your rent is going to be $1,000 more per week.
Just being straight on the water.
Just being straight on the water, because when I'm on the side view, I'm looking at the building next to me. The building next to me is looking at me. I don't have a private balcony. I'm looking at the pool. Yeah. And then I have to, just to cock your head to the side and look at the beach right there. Yeah. $75,000, but worth it. So you can only buy the view one time. You can do anything with the interior. And you know this, right? Buy the worst thing possible. As long as it has a great view, you can make it into a $1 million place with $1 million view, Yeah. So those are the two most important things. As far as picking a property manager, do not look for the cheapest person in town. You just can't.
I feel like you pay for what you get. Don't you agree?
You do pay for what you get. You do. And I mean, we're not the most expensive. There's actually more Vacasas in town. They're doing 25%. Yeah. My company, the company I used to own does 21%. Yeah. If they bring on an entire complex, they've done 18%. So we're not the most expensive, but you have to do your research. I mean, every investor asks the same thing. Well, how many days can you get booked for me? It doesn't matter how many days I get booked for you. What you should be asking is, what's the highest amount of money you can book a night for? Yeah. That's what you should be asking, because I could book every day of the year if I price it at $100 a night. But what you don't want to do that, right? You want the least amount of occupancy with the highest amount of return.
Yeah.
And so that was one of the revolutionary things for my company. So prior to me starting my vacation rental company, there were two rates, high season rate and low season rate. And that's not the way you maximize your revenue, right? Hotels have it right. They do average daily rate every night. The rate can change.
Yeah.
Right. Friday night's more expensive than Thursday night. It's just, this is pricing. This is how it works. So we went to a 52-week pricing. Every week was different. So every week the weather gets warmer, the price gets higher. And by the time you get to March, the biggest month of the year for us, we were charging $700 a night instead of $100 a night. $700. Yeah. People were like, you're not going to get that. There's no way you can get that. Well, give us a chance. We can get that, and we will get that. So they would make more money in the month of March than they were making in all of December, January, February, March combined.
Yeah.
So if you're an investor, first of all, you're already smart. Dollar signs means everything, right? So vacation rentals, it is not the number of nights I can rent for you. It's the average daily rate and how I can maximize every day, right? Didn't you guys host the Super Bowl?
A few years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the average nightly rate would have gone from like $500 a night to $2,000 a night, right? If you're not talking
we still see a lot of remnants Airbnb listing from the Super Bowl.
Well, if you're not thinking, if you're an investor, then your dollar signs is your game. When you're talking to a professional vacation rental manager, these are the things that are going to clue you into like, okay, this person knows what they're talking about. Trust them with your property. It doesn't matter if you pay him, the guy down the street's 15%. It doesn't matter if he doesn't know not to charge $100 a night. It matters if the person managing your property understands how to manage your revenue. That's key.
Well, flipping back, because you're talking about pricing, were you using or do you care if the property management company use a pricing tool, or do you prefer that they do, or does it matter at all?
I love this question so much because I did not use a pricing tool. Okay. There are good companies out there in our community. However, I didn't feel like they knew my owners and my properties and my beach and my town like I did. So unbelievably, like pricing was one of the things that I continued to do in the company, pricing properties and pricing every night. So I did not use any pricing tools. We did use data though. We used key data. So we could see what other managers were charging in town.
Yeah.
And based on that data, I could adjust our rates to, in slow season, just below what they were charging. And in high season, we would be the most expensive in town until we got closer to the booking date. Then we would drop our prices to be in line with them. But we would book as much as possible at the highest rate possible first, right? Just makes sense.
Yeah.
So I didn't use pricing tools. I used this tool. I don't know if that's the right answer for everybody. That was the right answer for me and my company.
When you look at property management company, does it matter if they experienced or new? Do you give them merit or, take away on that perspective?
Look, investors are smart people. Just the nature of the word. Okay. You're an investor. Okay. That means you have money to invest. So you've gotten that money somehow. You're a smart person. I was a new person. I wanted people to give me a chance. They gave me a chance based on relationship that I had with them. Oh, it's Jennifer. She's such a nice lady. I've known her for so long. Yeah, Jennifer, you can manage my property. Then when we doubled their income, they were like, wow, Jennifer, this is fantastic. I can't believe it. You can give new people a chance if they know what they're talking about. Make sure they're part of their professional organization. Make sure that they are who they say they are. I mean, you just be smart. Be smart. Your property needs to be in the hands of somebody who's going to care for it. It's interesting now because the company that bought my company, they manage my properties now.
Yeah.
Right. So like, I'm not in the system, like looking at my rates and figuring out how much. And like, that's like handcrafted stuff I do.
Right.
So I'm like, now I have to kind of do it manually myself. Yeah. And I'm killing it. I'm just killing it. I mean, I think I've raised my rates 40% in the last 10 months and I'm booked. I am booked solid. Like it's going to be an unbelievable 2022. So, it's exciting now. I'm doing it for myself, but I still need a professional management company. I'm an hour away from my property. I want to know it's in the hands of the right people who are going to take care of somebody if they need it in the middle of the night. And because we've increased the rates so much, paying a commission to manage my property is nominal because what they provide is exponential.
Yeah, I often say that to people who rate shopping as well is, what does it matter to you? What the company charge at the end of the day, make you more money is what matters.
That's right. The bottom line matters.
Yeah.
And investors who are smart will look past that. And also I would not sign with the company. And I don't know if your company does this, but I wouldn't sign with the company who makes you sign a contract for 12 months or 24 months. Because when in America should you not fire someone if they're doing a bad job? So if you're doing a bad job, I'm going to release you from managing my property, and that's going to be effective immediately. Except that you should honor all booked reservations. No one should book a vacation in a property and you just take the property away from them. Okay. They've booked the vacation. They took the time to find your home, honor the reservations, but you should be able to sign an open-ended contract.
Yes, that's what we do. There's no need to hold anyone hostage because it's going to be miserable for both sides.
Right. And it motivates you like, look, I have to do a good job or you can fire me tomorrow. I don't have 12 months of guaranteed income here.
Yeah.
I'm willing to take the risk because I know that I'm going to do a great job for you.
Right. Now, what's your opinion on a one-man band versus a team management company?
Well, how much can a one-man band do? I was a one-man band. Hang on.
But you're a rare case.
Well, I remember, I did have a business partner. So we were two-man band. I remember about month 18 when we had to hire somebody. I couldn't keep going at the pace that I was going because I was homeschooling. Like this end of the dining table, I had fourth grade going. This end of the dining table, I had kindergarten going. Yeah. And I was in the middle with my laptop, like booking reservations, taking calls. And no, it's 2 + 2. No, that's 2 dogs, not 3. It was, we need to hire somebody. And that person is still with the company. She's running Great Ocean Condos now. And she's amazing. So yeah, I think you have to have a team. I don't think there's any such thing as a one-man band. I think you have to have a team, at least one person. You got to have a right-hand man. But honestly, I mean, look at what I was. I was a middle school band director, right? So I hired the right software company, the right website company, the right Google AdWord company. Okay, I sought out these people. So they weren't my employee, but certainly they were on my team because they had the expertise to do things I didn't. So I don't think you can do. Are you a one-man band? You're not a one-man band, are you?
No, God, no. It is so much work. It's nearly impossible for a person to be in so many facets of the business and be good.
Right. I completely agree with that. So you fill in your gaps where you're not good. You surround yourself with the companies and the people who can do what you can't do. Absolutely.
I'm growing our company with the intent of me not being there. So I am doing a trade-off of whatever it is that needs to be done. That, I'm just going to be the pretty face.
You're doing that super well, by the way.
Well, as a saying, fake it until you make it, right? There may be a storm going on behind me and a couple houses on fire, but I'm here.
Right. So
being a manager, right? You leverage other people's home and you build a business. But being a homeowner that's a bit different. And let's say the biggest concern I hear when people want to buy a home for vacation rental or short-term rental is the concern of regulations. Because at any given moment, you can get shut down, like what happened to all of us during the pandemic. And you rely on this income revenue or this investment strategy. So how do you feel about that aspect of the risk of owning vacation rentals?
It's real. It's a real thing. And local government control they are overreaching. It's sometimes out of control, unfair. So that's a tough one. I mean, I'm a property rights advocate. So I serve as co-chair of the Government Affairs and Public Policy Committee for the Vacation Rental Management Association. When I was the president of Florida VRMA, I traveled the state with Senator Stubbe and Representative LaRosa. We talked to newspapers and anybody who would listen. We made our rounds around the House and the Senate. We talked about vacation rentals. From the time that we rode our horse across the land and stuck our flag in the ground and said, this property is mine.
Yeah.
You should be able to use your property in any way you see fit, as long as you are not impeding on the rights, right, of the person who owns the property next to you, right? That has to be a respectful thing. Mm-hmm. So number one, when you're buying investment property, make sure you know the zoning of the area. Make sure you know if that area is zoned for short-term rentals, STRs, they call them. Right? Mm-hmm. Don't rely on your real estate agent, because I can tell you that a lot of real estate agents I talk to, they don't know what the zoning is. They just want to sell the property onto the next property, sell the property. Yeah. Now, the zoning, when the zoning was put in place and who makes up your zoning department in the area in which you're buying, those things are important. So do your homework. Zoning is the biggest way to get regulated out, because they'll pull out a zoning ordinance from 1982 and tell you that, when that ordinance said tourist home, this zone is zoned for tourist home. Mm-hmm. Well, that's not a vacation rental. A tourist home, well, what is it? A bed and breakfast? Yeah. I mean, it's zoned for a tourist home. That is a vacation rental. Well, no, it's whatever the local government at the time wants it to be. And you can be zoned right out of business. I've seen it happen. So pie in the sky, goal for every state in the union, get a statewide preemption. All of the regulations on vacation rentals should be preempted to the state to regulate it all the way across the state fairly and equally. Like right now, it's city by city, county by county. You can drive one block this way and you can't do a rental less than 30 days. But one block this way, you could do a 1-day rental. It's insane. So Florida does have a statewide preemption. The only two things that are preempted are frequency and duration. Okay. So they can't take your vacation rental and say, well, it was 7 days, but now it has to be 30 days or 60 days. They can't do that. And frequency goes along with that. They can't tell you can only rent your place 12 times a year. But, it's getting more and more restrictive. We have a bill right now going through the Senate and the House, and we're trying to partner and work together with professional managers, online travel platforms like Expedia, VRBO, Airbnb. I mean, we are one community. What regulates us as an individual owner is going to regulate, VRBO. Yep. And we could be regulated right out of business, every one of us. So coming together, real estate agents coming together with vacation rental managers, coming together with platforms, coming together with all of our software companies and all of the data collection companies and all of the website building companies, everybody coming together is really what is going to protect us. So you have to give it to the advocacy fund. It's an insurance policy, right? Yeah. It's an insurance policy. We had a goal of $200,000 last year. We collected $370,000. We're helping to build cost of compliance studies, affordable housing studies, all the things that local government likes to say, well, there's no place for people to rent here. You're taking away all the affordable housing. Well, actually, we're not. We're providing a tremendous amount of jobs and income. Yeah. And we're helping the community flourish. Right. I mean, we have to prove those things. So that's a big, knowing zoning and knowing what regulations are in your town are a big factor in buying an investment property.
Jennifer, during the COVID breakout, was Florida shut down?
Yes. Now, curiously enough, hotels were not shut down ever, not one day, but vacation rentals were shut down for 61 days.
So meaning you did not rent the home out at all?
No.
The whole state of Florida, or was it just part of Florida?
The whole state of Florida, 61 days. And then when we got opened up, the governor said, well, each county can submit a plan on their opening procedures, and we'll decide county by county if you can open or not.
That's a disaster.
It's a disaster. It was a disaster. We were trying to come up with the plan, share it with all the counties. Let's all submit the same plan, right? Mm-hmm. When we opened up, it was the Friday before Memorial Day weekend in 2020, about 5:45, right? Check-in time's 4 p.m. We know we're about to get opened. we have guests coming for Memorial Day weekend, and we finally got opened. Our county, my county, Volusia County, got opened. Many other counties didn't get open. It was crazy, V. I don't know, listen, I wish I could sit down and just have dinner with Governor DeSantis and say, so what were you thinking?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't get it, but there's lots of politics, right? I mean, where does the hotel industry stand in politics next to the vacation rental community? Where do we stand? They are greater and stronger. I think Governor DeSantis still thinks that vacation rentals are Airbnbs.
True.
If you go back in his history in office, he forbade any government official in Florida from staying in an Airbnb. They would not be reimbursed.
Oh my God.
Because Airbnb had taken off vacation rentals over on the West Bank in Israel. And so that was it. You're not friends with Israel. No government official can stay in an Airbnb. That's it. He wouldn't allow it. And so that had to be all worked out, and they did. And the vacation rentals got opened up, and public officials could stay in Airbnbs and be reimbursed. But we're not Airbnbs. Airbnb does not define us. My personal vacation rentals are not listed on Airbnb. It's just a different guest than a VRBO guest. It's a different guest than a family who's booked direct through my website for the last 14 years. That's a whole nother podcast, V. You know what I'm talking about.
Well, it's funny you said that. So I used to go on Vrbo and Airbnb and look for places when we travel with our whole family. And then since I was exposed to VRMA, I actually looked, and then I went to the website directly to book through whoever the manager is instead of booking through these sites,
Right. Please, let's educate the entire world. Every traveler out there, start your search on Airbnb and VRBO. Look at everything they have. And when you see Blue Yonder Beach House in New Smyrna Beach, go to your Google browser and type in Blue Yonder Beach House, New Smyrna Beach, and save $400 on your trip because you won't be paying a service fee to an OTA.
That's right.
I mean, educate every traveler out there. You will save money on your vacation for sure. And you'll help direct market to professional managers. Great idea.
Yeah. I actually, only book stay with professional managers. I don't book my stay with the one person host. You just never know what standard, what you come up on,
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's very interesting take on you being a property manager and now you being the property owners,
right? Reversing
your role.
It's not easy. I don't want to be that owner. You know that owner. You know the one I'm talking about? Okay. Hey, everybody listening out there.
Tell us about that owner.
Yeah. Don't be that owner. All the investment people out there listening, you hire a professional that you trust and know is going to care for your property, and then you let them do their job.
That's right.
Don't be that owner.
I do stay away from people who ask me, well, can I manage my rates? Can I decide who comes stay at my house? I said, I'm sorry, but we're not the right company for you.
Yeah. Well, I'm skilled, so I have to beg my company, can I please still manage my rates? Because it's like my little job now, on my property is managing my rates. But you have to leave it to a professional. You have to leave it to somebody who knows what they're doing for sure. That's the reason you're hiring them.
Do you plan on buying a vacation home outside of your driving distance? Because right now you have them in Florida. Do you plan on buying them elsewhere?
I have one in Vermont. And in fact, I have a call with Julie Marks. She's the Vermont Short-Term Rental Alliance director, because Vermont has been trying to put in some strange regulations, like in order to use your home as a vacation rental, you have to live in it for 6 months and 1 day. Then you can use it as a vacation rental. I mean, where do we come up with this stuff? I mean, see, local government is crazy. So I don't know. When you have vacation rentals, I have Vermont and my beach rentals. So every time I go on vacation, I end up going to Vermont or my beach rentals, right? So I'm missing the whole world basically, which, due to COVID's been closed down anyway, but maybe, the door is not closed. But I will tell you this, if I look outside of my drive area, the first thing I'll be looking to see is if there's a great manager in the area, because that's the person I'm going to be entrusting with my home. So that's going to be key to that decision?
I think you just made a really important point, because that manager is going to make you money or break you. I made a mistake of hiring a big name company that I won't name, a national company. And, when I got the house back, it went from a pretty home to an ugly house, let's just say. One of the many reasons why I started a property management company.
Very smart.
Yeah.
You're smart. I want to be you, V. You came to see my company. I want to come see your company.
Well, I'm not sure. I just know how to surround myself with good people like you, Jennifer.
That's key. Got to hire the right people. You got to be always learning.
I'm like you. I'm very passionate about the regulations, the property rights. So if there's anything that we can help you strengthen the voice of promoting property rights, happy to help.
Absolutely. I will be calling on you. We're just putting together our strategic plan for 2022. And, you never know how things are going to change. COVID, for better or for worse, exposed the vacation rental, right? Huge exposure. Like people who never stayed in a vacation rental before started staying in a vacation rental, right? Yep. They were, there's a place I can stay with my whole family and not be in a crowded lobby of a hotel. This is fantastic. Yes, I want a vacation rental. So it's really elevated our community. However, there's more parking, there's more trash, and there's more noise. And those three things have also stimulated local government to try to put a controlling hand on this.
Yeah.
So we have to balance and really quickly explain and prove our value and our economic impact to our areas. Be part of your community, be involved in your community, beach cleanup day, be there, city council meetings, be there. You need to be part of what's happening and not the outside problem. That's important.
We know 2020 and 2021 have done, the revenue, I would say, increased substantially for a lot of the vacation rental property managers and owners. Like, where do you think that will go this year, 22?
You're the third person to ask me that this month. Like, let me get my crystal ball out. Hang on.
Yeah.
Let's see. Will we be keeping the money?
Right. Will we have the same growth? Is it going to slow down?
Right. Is it a blip on the radar, or is it here to stay? Right. Yeah. That's what everybody wants to know. I would say it's here to stay. Travel is going to open back up. Right. And people are going to start going on cruises and to Europe again. And people are going to do that. However, the remote workforce has been elevated, probably 20%. So people are going to be working from home, and that home can be a vacation home. Yep. And like I just said, we just got major exposure. People who never knew there were these vacation rentals out there now know there's vacation rentals. I mean, I had Kevin Harrington, the original shark from Shark Tank. He's a friend of my brother's. And I had him speak at our Florida Vacation Rental Management Association conference in, I think it was 2017. And he had never stayed in a vacation rental. Wow. Never. He lives in Tampa, Florida. So we drove over to Orlando for the conference. We put him up in a huge vacation home in Disney. Yeah. He got up on stage for his speech and he said, I drove up into my driveway. I put the code into the house. I walked into this unbelievable house. I explored for an hour. I'll never stay in a hotel again. I couldn't believe it. I've never stayed in a vacation rental. And the audience, it's all professional managers. They just exploded. It was like, it was so perfect. Like he just hadn't experienced that. So I think with COVID, we've gotten exposed for good or for bad. So I don't think it's a blip on the radar. I think it's going to stay. And that's exciting, right? That's super exciting.
Do you think this industry is going to be a lot more competitive because of the exposure and because of the false returns that everyone's talking about, that, everybody now want to convert their home to a vacation rental of some sorts?
So competitive as far as like manager against manager, or you mean like flooding the market with so much inventory that
the supply, the inventory,
the supply is so high. Yeah. And the demand can only be so high. That's a great question. Wow. I don't know. I mean, more selection, you know what that means? It means you need to make your vacation home the best vacation choice there is. So like my vacation homes, and we're talking 2-bedroom, 2-bath, oceanfront direct, right? They're completely renovated. They have luxury everything, a coffee maker and a Keurig and a crock pot for my winter renters and a toaster oven and a regular toaster and a potato peeler, DVR.
Yeah.
Don't want to miss your show. Who wants to come in from the beach to watch the football game, right? Record the football game. When it starts raining, come in from the beach, watch the game. DVR in the living room, DVR in the master bedroom. Parents want to record their show. Nobody wants to miss the Real Housewives. Come on. They don't. Every little luxury makes your place more choosable, right? Is that a word? Choosable? I mean, make your place the place everyone wants to book. So will the market become more competitive? If you're an investor, you're smart. You have money to invest. Be smart about making that vacation rental the one they want. Wouldn't it be awesome if every owner did that, V? And every owner, oh my gosh. Like, could we just put 600 thread count sheets on every bed, please? Egyptian cotton. Can we not? Can we have plush luxury towels? Can we never buy another towel from Walmart again? Right. Can that happen? I think don't be, penny wise and pound foolish, right? Spend a little bit more money and make a lot more money. That's how it works. The right manager will help you do that.
That was going to be my next question. So how would an owner know what to put in their home? Because sometimes they don't know.
Well, my owner's guide has an inventory list. So every single, when you're interviewing a manager, ask them for their owner's guide or their inventory list. Honestly, there are still condos where people have old box TVs. Remember those? Like the huge TV. I still see those. Like now, like it was cool when everybody got a flat screen, right? Well, flat screens are no good anymore. You need a smart TV.
Yeah,
exactly. So, that was cool. Everybody got a flat screen and like, oh, hey, I got a 45-inch flat screen. Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. Now they're 65 inches and they're smart TVs. And they're less expensive than you paid for that 45-inch flat screen. So you just get rid of it. You have to upgrade. Everything has to be the top of the top. You're talking about someone who's on vacation one time a year, top of the top.
If you put it that way, it does put things in perspective. So now that you have sold your company, what's next for you?
What's next for me? Great question. I have a whole career left. I was a public school teacher for 13 years. I was a vacation rental manager for 13 years. What am I doing now? So I'm a consultant for Village Realty, and I'm assisting with mergers and acquisitions for Village Realty. So anybody out there who's thinking that maybe they would like to sell their vacation rental business, please reach out to me and I will give you all the information you need to know to sell to a really great company, or just all the information you need to know to put yourself ready to sell to a great company. So I'm doing that. I'm doing some volunteer work that I've been wanting to do my entire life that I have never had time for. So that's just fulfilling, that it makes you feel like you're giving to your community. And so that's irreplaceable. And if I hadn't sold my company, I wouldn't be able to do that right now. And I still have a daughter at home until June 22nd, when she leaves for college. I still have a daughter at home.
Isn't that amazing? You get to spend a lot of time with your daughter.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. I didn't have that. She's grown up in the business. The tech closet where the server was, that was her office. She used to put pictures up on the wall. She used to tell me she used to remind me. She'd pull my sleeve. Mom, tell him about how you got that place booked before you even had the pictures. Remember that one? Tell him, Mom.
That's so
She's
sweet.
grown up. She's grown up in the business. Now she wants to do physical therapy. If either one of my kids were interested in vacation rental management, I would have kept the company, but they want to do their own thing and make their own way. And that's fantastic. But
well, maybe one day they'll end up in the vacation rentals. You just never know.
Never know, because it's an amazing community of people. I've met people like you and many others. And it's just really been a blessing. The whole building the company, helping people, it really has been a blessing.
It has been. So what is the one thing that people might be surprised to learn about you?
Oh, well, I have to go to my hobby. So I play No Limit Hold'em Poker, and I played in the 2019 main event on ESPN.
I heard you pretty
got
good
knocked
too.
out got knocked out right before day 3 on an unbelievable poker hand. Tweet me later. I'll tell you about it. It was awful. My husband and I play No Limit Hold'em poker tournaments together. He made a televised final table last week. He came in second place out of about 1,300 players, won $30,000, was on TV. It was really awesome, bucket list kind of stuff. But yeah, that's my hobby. I take lessons from a pro poker player, and I play weekly in No Limit Hold'em tournaments. It's not gambling. I have to say that out loud. My aunt is so worried about me because she thinks it's gambling. I tell her there's a World Series of poker. Anything with the World Series is a sport.
It's a sport. That's right.
It's a sport.
Well, I mean, your odds is pretty good, so it's not gambling.
Correct.
Remind me not to play poker with you and Brian.
Oh, please play poker with us. We'll teach you. We've taught many of our friends. Our whole family has the poker bug. We have a professional poker room in our house. It's a free hobby. We make money doing it and we enjoy it. Something that we do together and we study together. It's for those of you who play poker out there, you know how difficult and how many aspects there are, just like vacation rental management. There's many, many aspects to the poker game. It's not just about the cards you have in your hand.
So would you put a poker table at your vacation rental?
If I had one that big, yes. If I had a game room, I would. We have a house that has a poker table. I mean, yeah.
I actually have one at one of our properties. So
I'll stay at that one.
Well, I was thinking about hosting a poker tournament, but that hadn't happened yet.
Yes, I'd like to get for the advocacy fund a No Limit tournament at the national conference this year. It's out in Vegas in October.
Do that.
So yes,
let's do
Caesar's
that.
Palace.
All right.
Love to see everybody there.
Okay, last questions. How does the audience get in touch with you?
Well, my personal cell phone number, which is always the best way because I love talking to people, is 407-756-4788. Or you can reach me at my email address, which is jennifer@greatoceancondos.com. That's my business email address. I also have one with Village Realty coming. And then I have my personal, which is jenniferlynnharris1@gmail.com.
I had so much fun talking to Jennifer, and thank you for watching the Real Estate Ballers show. If you find value in this show, please give us some support, like us, subscribe to us, help us get the words out by sharing this episode with a friend, or give us a shout out on social media using the hashtag REBallers. Lastly, leave us a comment below. Let us know what you learned or what you're doing that's working or not working. See you next time.